attention, girl, I know you. But you're everything I want in life. We're fighting danger like Kung Fu. The love I feel is deep inside. The others don't matter. It's honestly us against the world. We're the perfect team. You're my dream, and I just want it. Can you see myself? Can you see myself? Can you see myself? See myself? Can you see myself? Can you see myself? Can you see myself? See myself? Can you see myself? Can you see myself? See myself? Can you see myself? Can you see myself? Can you see myself?
Right, we should be live, ready to go. Can you all see me and hear me? Hi, welcome. My camera's here. This is where I need to pay full attention to. How's everyone doing this evening? Welcome to one of two streams this evening. It's going to be a little bit of a change of pace to what I normally do tonight. So basically, for the first stream this evening, I am going to be doing something that I've never, ever done on YouTube before. Basically, what I'm going to be doing tonight is, one of my friends, Sue, she is a big part of a charity that I work with, Alopecia UK, and she's basically written a children's book, and I've been saying to her for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, I am going to do a video on it, I'm going to review it for her, so I thought I'd do one better. I'm going to read to you, I'm going to read to you this book. So, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm a little bit dyslexic. I am dyslexic, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge. Read aloud to people. It's going to be fun to do. I'm kind of nervous about it, I'm not going to lie. But also another reason where it's really special is because there's a character in here called Hobo, and Hobo has alopecia like me. Sue, who wrote the book, actually has alopecia like me as well. So it's going to be really cool. I'll crank the audio up a little bit for you. Hope you can hear that. BMO, I'm just going to tweet out the stream real quick, and then we can kind of really get cracking. So I'm going to try and read as much as I can. Like I said, I'm going to be streaming this tonight, then I'm probably maybe going to have in like maybe about half an hour break or so, and then I'm going to be streaming some Evo, because I know it's Evo tonight, and I haven't had a chance to record an episode because I've been away all weekend. So I'll be streaming some Evo for you lovely people instead. So let me just tweet out the stream real quick. It's a book. Yeah, I am streaming, reading a book. I mentioned this earlier on Twitter. Clues in the title. If this might not be everyone's cup of tea, so if you want to watch this, do. If not, I'll be streaming Evo later on, because I know this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, me reading. And honestly, I've never done this before, so like I'm not expecting everybody to stick around and watch it, because like I say, it's I'm reading for you on YouTube, which is a very cool concept, also a little strange as well. So give me one little sec. I'm just gonna tweet out the stream, and then we can get cracking, and then we can start with this. I don't know why I'm nervous about this. I'm kind of nervous about doing a whole reading thing on YouTube. Like it's a little strange, but guys, I'm just gonna say a little hello to all as well for a start, and then yeah, I'm just gonna at Sue so she can come read it. Come read it. Come see what I'm doing. Right. Okay, so let's just say hi to some of you in there. Who we got in the chat? Rowan, what's happening? Welcome to the stream. Phil's eyelash, how's it doing? Nathan, you love books, good. I've got Veron for you. Amelia, how are you doing? Claire, how are you doing? Sidral, thank you for your lovely comment. Cool boy in the house, what's happening, buddy? Super Pizza 2. We've got Planet in here. We've got Bella. We've got the Derpies in-house representing as well. It's all good. Beatrice, what's happening? Danny, how are you doing? Ethan, hi. Clay, looking forward to this. I hope I don't disappoint with my terrible reading skills. Bertie, how are you doing? Tom the Boss, Shadow, what's happening? How are you doing? Dan, hello. My day's been okay, thank you. Right. Don't be nervous. I am a little bit, I'm not going to lie. I'd much rather stand on stage in front of a couple thousand people and read aloud. Honestly. But it's going to be good. Not a problem. Super Pizza, not a problem at all, buddy. Right. I've tweeted it out. Hopefully Sue's going to come see it at some point. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. So let's do this. Right. So let me just read the summary for you real quick. And then I know it's the new office. Yes, it's lovely. It's lovely. So yeah, as I said before, I'm going to be reading this as much as I can, and then later on this evening I'll be doing a quite a long Evo stream. So you guys get the best of both worlds. You get the great book, and then you get some Minecraft as well. And you can see the clinger in the background. That's right. There we go. Huh? Keeping all my props, keeping all my things I've made in close proximity. You never know when I might need it. Kelly, what's happening? How are you doing? Okay, I ordered his exact book of Amazon, along with some other stuff. It looks fab. Good. Turn the audio up. I can't hear. My audio is kind of loud as it can go without me physically eating the microphone, so that's the best I can do it. Right, okay, so I'll read the summary for you. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous doing this. So nervous. Will you read to the end? It's 180 pages. I will try my best. Tom, I'm a savage. Okay, thanks for that. Okay, from the world of Doctor Who, Lucy Wilson doesn't want to move from London to a sleepy South Wales. Cool boy would love this. But when she arrives at her new seaside home, it doesn't appear to be as boring as she expected. Ogmore by the Sea seems to be under the control of a mysterious and powerful force. But why is it Lucy is targeted? And why? When students at a new school start to disappear, does no one seem to care? With the help of her new friend Hobo, Lucy Wilson must assume the mantle of her grandfather, the legendary. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be so good. Brigadier Lethbridge-stewart, and defeat an invisible enemy before it's too late. The Lucy Wilson Mysteries is the Lethbridge-stewart spin-off adventure and features licensed characters created by Doctor Who's Mervyn Halsman and Henry Lincoln. See, you've got a little taster of what you're going to be in for now as well. Kivy, what's happening? Right, so I'm just gonna crack on. Get comfy, grab a cup of tea, biscuit, cup of coffee, whatever your preference is. We're gonna have a go at some story time with Tom. Okay, reading a book for loads of people on YouTube. This is a first for me, but yeah. Sue, if you're watching, hi. Guys, also, if you want to check out Sue's website, I've linked it in the description. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. Okay, Sue's just a lovely friend of mine. She does a lot for the charity, so I'm making that very clear. People at YouTube, no sponsor, just doing for a friend. Okay, gotta make that fine. Okay. Let's try. I'm so nervous about this. Right, let's do this. This is such a weird thing for me doing. I'm so used to screaming and playing video games. Is the book out now? The book is out now. It's available to get. Okay. Chapter 1, Uprooted. I'm going to start doing audiobooks, guys. I'm going to start doing audiobooks, I think. I won't be able to respond to chat much. Okay. That's another thing I want to make very clear. If moderators, just keep your eye on stuff. But I'm here to read to you. Hopefully chat won't need too much moderation. I'm not ignoring any of you as well. I'm just concentrating as well. Okay, I've talked too much. Let's get on with the story. Okay, chapter 1, Uprooted. Lucy Wilson didn't know why her family had to move. Sometimes she thought she might as well be 5 years old instead of 12. Because when she asked the question, the answer she got was toddler rated and on a loop. As it was only her parents' business when she was the one being uprooted against her will. She had been born in London and she liked its multicultural colours, smells and rhythms, as well as its history. And now they were supposed to be starting a new life in a place she'd never heard of. With the ugly name, friends made her repeat. What kind of diversity? She asked her brother, Nick on Skype. Are we likely to find in Ogmore by Sea a biodiversity of fossils? Nick has no reason to care. He was at university in Nottingham most of the year. Lucy pointed out that bio meant fossil life. Fossils were long dead, and she said probably fossilized herself in a year. He thought that was funny, so she threw a pillow at his smug face on screen. Love, said her mum, Tamara from outside her room. I know you think this is bad timing. Bad timing, bad decision, Lucy muttered as Nick disappeared from her screen. Then her phone rang. As her mum headed downstairs, Lucy turned up the brightness in her voice for her best friend, Aisha. That lasted until she remembered that, thanks to Ogmore by Sea, Aisha wouldn't be her best friend much longer. Aisha was excited. My cousin's getting married, she told Lucy. I'll lend you a sari. Oh, you won't be there. You won't be here, will you? Where's that Welsh place again? Oddball by Sea, said Lucy loudly. Enough for her mum to hear. Then she supplied the actual name. Nick says, I'll have to practice my ogging so I can og more. I think he's got more stupid since he started uni. Aisha laughed more than Nick deserved. When she offered to come round and help her pack, Lucy told her, thanks, but I'm okay. Call you later. But she didn't feel okay at all. There was one reason to stay that she hadn't told anyone, even Aisha. It wasn't that she didn't know how many mixed race families were like her there, might be on the sleepy Welsh high street, or how many girls in the school would have a gay brother too. Because differences was good. Even though she wasn't sure that someone crazier than a box of frogs, as Nick reckoned, she'd always been would find what? She'd always been found anyone to understand her in the whole so-called town. Tom reading a story, just sit back and enjoy. That's what's happening pretty much. I'm just reading a story. I'm trying not to break too much as well. If you're just joining, this is a little random bit. I hope you enjoy the story. I'm going to try and not lose my place as well. Where was I? Even though she wasn't that someone crazy in a box of frogs, as Nick reckoned she'd always been. Okay. I lost my place. No, Lucy has a much bigger reason to stay exactly where she was. In London, she could call her grown-up brother Connell Lethbridge-stewart and say, come and get me, when she needed someone to listen to. Connell and Dean would let her help them cook Sunday lunch in the sci-fi kitchen. The three of them dancing to loud music and chopping veg to the rhythm of the drums, while her little niece would jiggle in the high chair. That was Lucy would be doing just a few days before packing boxes arrived. To be precise, she'd been stirring the pasta sauce while Connell waved a bunch of basil under her nose, and Dean tested the spaghetti worm that wanted to slither away. For a lawyer, her brother was a big kid and she loved them both. When they were messing around making her laugh, they would be good listeners too. Mum and Dad just don't understand, she complained. They won't let me be a Lethbridge-stewart too, even though it's who I am. I don't even know why Dad wants to be boring old Wilson. You'd think he'd be proud to have a hero for a father. Oh dear. I know, Lou. It's a mystery, admitted Cornell, bringing her the black pepper. Yes, but not the cool kind you can solve. It's just stupid moodiness, and it drives me crazy. I wish Sir Alistair had lived long enough to come to our wedding, said Dean, and the two husbands held hands a moment. Lucy wasn't sure she could forgive her father. He'd turned her grandfather into a taboo subject when he in fact had been a hero. And even when he was still alive, she wasn't allowed to get to know her grandfather, Brigadier Sir Alistair Lethbridge-stewart. So much better. She could have heard more of his stories, learned everything, but she couldn't love him any more than she already did, in spite of the secrets. Her mum said father and son had just never gotten on, but that made no sense to Lucy because Grandad was quite obviously the best in the known universe. Not to mention all those universes he'd known about too. It was hard not to brag about him, but she tried. In year 1, she drew him with red-eyed green splodge and caption, Grandad fitting aliens oof kapow. Her teacher told her parents she had a fantastic imagination overlooking the spelling, but fitting wasn't one of the school's values. Lucy told her mum it soon would be by aliens were hopping across the playground. Then she'd have to fight like Grandad when he saved London from that creepy force in the underground. Are we all alright? Are we all good? Are you hearing all of it or half it? I don't know. It depends on how much we get through. I'm just going to try my best, but it's a good opportunity. If I don't finish it, you guys can don't know, maybe get the book and finish it yourselves, or maybe we could do another stream or something else like that. And I've just realised I'm framed terribly, but hopefully I'm not boring you all too much. Okay, let's continue. Okay, that one had always made her shiver. When she was very small, she'd sit on his lap to hear them, sometimes the same ones again and again. He never minded when she stroked his chin and pulled out his ears of the smartest tie, and he liked being kissed on the nose. You'll give her nightmares, her dad said once, coming in and finding her round-eyed and bouncing as she cried, more Grandad. But she didn't have bad dreams because of Grandad. She felt safe and brave. And now she felt as if she was leaving him behind. In London, she felt close to him, as if she could visit him any time, just like she did with her brother. Maybe if she hadn't lost him, Grandad would have been on her side. She might have called to tell her father it wasn't fair. Not that Dad would have listened, but as it was, as they drove away, leaving the house behind, she didn't even look back. She never cried and didn't want to break her own rule now. The drive to their new home took forever, and her parents accused Lucy of sulking. I have nothing to say that anyone wants to. I have nothing to say that anyone wants to hear, said Lucy, as sweetly as possible. That's a very different dynamic. She hated it. When her parents exchanged looks that meant they agreed on what she was like. Too clever for her own good, she once overheard Dad saying. Wake me when we get there, she said, wondering whether she'd smell the seaweed. Nick reckoned her nose had more senses than the sniffer dog's, just because she could smell his football kit at 100 meters when he brought his washing home. She turned her head to one side and closed her eyes. For the best part of 3 hours, she tried to sleep, pretend to sleep, and in between, checked her phone for a friend's texting, "Miss you, L," and then with a kiss on. When Mum woke up, Lucy had just slipped into a dream. She and her granddad had been under attack from the reptilian cave monsters. "Look at the castle," said Mum. "Nearly there," added Dad. Lucy remembered her parents mentioning Castel and Gastel Org after she decided, rather than going to view the houses, that she'd much rather attend a sleepover weekend. Then she'd been unimpressed, but now she had to admit the castle was a good one. It looked as if something monstrous had bitten a chunk out of the battlements. And there was a ford of stepping stones leading across the river beside it. As they drove along, the river nestled under the land dunes. Seabirds gathered in a flock along the water's edge, taking flight as a horse cantered past. "See!" cried Mum. At least Lucy thought so. It could have been, "See," as in, "We told you this was a gorgeous place." No one could have missed the sea that stretched smooth and glistened ahead of them. Now outside the window, the world was blue. Above the blue below, white crests broke without drama on the tips of the friendly waves. But the blue was cool and thin, and the beach looked empty apart from one human and one frantic dog. This was a late October sun. Winding down the window, she felt the wind bite. London was always warm because it was so alive. What would this place be like in January? Seagulls squawked and screeched of a reply above the car, and Lucy wound up the window down. "It's beautiful," said Mum, and Lucy didn't scoff because it was. Nobody seemed to have taught the local sheep the most basic road safety. They wandered in front of the car and crawled along the narrow road lined with the palms and the yuccas to the Wilsons' new address. The house looked onto the bay, and her father had said he was sure they could walk across the bracken down to the beach. Lucy said, looking at the state of the paintwork. "Are estate agents allowed to Photoshop?" No one answered, so she added, "Was it going cheap?" Mum pointed out that Lucy's room was bigger than in London. Sitting on her bed, she could smell the sea as well as hear it, and if she looked sideways out of her back window, she could see it too. If this was a holiday, she'd have been bouncing, but a week wasn't the same thing as life. Just making sure everyone's still alright. I'm trying to find a good angle as well for speaking and reading as well, which is proving a struggle. Okay. She supposed there was the ruined castle to investigate, even though she didn't expect to find any beefeaters, bloody towers, or chopping blocks and an axe. Were there any horses nearby? She'd like to think she'd be a natural galloping along the shore. She wished she could ask questions like, "Did Grandad ride?" or "Was Grandad better at reading or writing?" But no one would give her the answer. She tried to picture him as a boy on the sand barefoot. He would have been curious and brave like her, with quick reactions that would come in handy when London was under attack. She couldn't be sure of how many facts about him, but she was certain he loved her. There was a connection in the spite of everything, and she felt sure it was stronger than blood or genes. The Wilsons had fish and chip supper of the first night, but everyone was too tired for a lot of talking. Aisha and a couple of Lucy's London friends messaged her and when she sent them photos she'd taken, they said awesome and cool. But it wasn't home, and it wasn't hers. She felt as if she'd just landed on a spaceship somewhere she'd never blend in. It was darker that night in Ogmore than Lucy had ever known it, and quieter too. Not that she was scared. Lucy liked to believe that thanks to Grandad she wasn't afraid of anything. Well, almost anything. But it was odd, unnerving, and yes, alien. She realised as she lay awake listening that sea was more powerful and unknowable than neon lights, the Gherkin or Westminster. Right, chapter 1, nailed. Again, I'm really liking it so far. What are you guys thinking? I know I'm not really paying much attention to chat. I will read chat after every chapter. Make sure everyone's knowing what's happening. So if you just joined, you've missed chapter 1 of this lovely book I'm currently reading. So, yeah, how are we liking it so far? How many chapters are there? 19. We're not going to read this all today. Definitely not. We're not going to read this all today. I'm just going to make that abundantly clear. It's taking me half an hour to read chapter 1. But I've been talking. But yeah, there's no way I can read this all in one go. So yeah. Hopefully we're enjoying it. I'm enjoying reading. Okay, that's fine, Paula. That's fine with me. Weekly read stream. Yeah, we could definitely do that. Sunday night stream. You can read away. And then, yeah. So we'll read a couple more chapters. Then after this, we'll chill out. And then I'm going to do a Evo stream. So yeah, Ben, what's happening, buddy? Quick summary. Girl called Lucy. She has moved away from London to some place in Wales, and she misses it. There we go. See, planet with a catch-up right there. You like my hat? Thank you very much. Okay, let's start chapter 2. I'm just trying to find a good way of reading a book and not eating a microphone. Maybe if I do that. I kind of want the microphone in front of me, like that. Can you guys hear me okay? We good? And continue on. I didn't know Ogmore-on-Sea was in South Wales. Neither did I. I didn't even know it was a place, but apparently it could be. Right, anyway, let's continue on. Are we all sat down here loud and clear? I'm trying my best. Can we buy this book? You can. If you want to check out Sue's website, it's in the description. Or if you search for the Lucy Wilson Mysteries, Avatars of the Intelligence, you should be able to find it. So yeah, not sponsored. Right, okay. Chapter 2, Tusker's Rock. Lucy woke up. Lucy worked more than... Let me start again. Yeah, it's on a website. You can get it at Amazon, £8. There you go, sorted. Okay. Lucy worked more than ready for her first Welsh breakfast, but no one could locate the toaster. It's like living in a warehouse, she complained. I don't know, warehouse. That's kind of like a joke a planet would make. Anyway, let's continue on. The boxes will soon disappear if we unpack together, said Mum. Dad, though, needed to go to a meeting about his new job. Lucy didn't try very hard to yell goodbye from the bathroom because, after all, the move was his fault. Lucy felt as if half-term was being wasted. What was left of a week's holiday would get used up by sorting boxes. And until she started new school, she didn't have anyone to hang around with. Mum struggled to get the shower under control. When she came down from the bathroom smelling of citrus, her brush of dark curls dampened her shoulders. She gave Lucy an obnoxious look. Will you sort out your books and things and get your room looking nice? Maybe later. I might investigate Oddball by the Sea. Not on your own, love. You told us how safe it is compared with London, Lucy reminded her. Suddenly, it's the crime capital of the West. I'm talking about the rocks and the tide coming in and you not knowing your way around. It'll take me all of 3 minutes to learn that. Lucy fancied finding Tusker Rock, which had hid high tide and surprised sailing ships the same way for the iceberg had surprised the Titanic. She checked on her phone. High tide was late afternoon, so there was no chance of her going under the rock like the captain with the ship. Mum swallowed a sigh and said, "Right, come on, let's forget the boxes and explore." It was a clear, crisp day. Soon the two of them were exploring the route to the beach. A wind tugged at their matching bundles of curly hair as they stopped and looked down in both directions. To the left, there was a wall that curled spikily around as if to say, "I wouldn't if I were you," because beyond were sheer cliffs dropping down to the beach that you could probably only access on the end of a rope from a helicopter. To the right, there were rocks that looked a lot less dangerous, but were all the same, like dinosaur heads, or the surface of some other planet, thought Lucy. She was in a mood for climbing, but she'd only just started when Mum's phone rang. At once, Lucy recognised her mum's work voice, her new job voice. Mum stood still and focused. Lucy hadn't turned on her phone because messages from her friends would make her sad and possibly cross too. She wandered ahead looking for people her age, people who might be in her year at new school. Looking around like a camera on sweep, she realised she felt as if someone's lens was focused on her. But whose? A woman was walking in a funny little waddling dog, and an old couple walked past holding hands saying, "Morning." But otherwise, Lucy couldn't see many humans shaped at all. Just a long dark mound that was Tusker Rock. Bigger than a submarine, but deadlier. It looked close enough for a strong swimmer like her to reach. If this whole bay wasn't supposed to be red flag territory. Lucy kept on walking and scrambled too, but a glint drew her eye back to a forbidding cliffs around the bay. They looked built to shred anything the sea threw at them, then turned back out towards Tusker Rock. She thought for a moment that someone was standing here. The figure was tall and thin, like a funnel of a ship, except that it didn't quite hold the ship in the wind, as if it was cloaked. Lucy couldn't see whether it was male or female or even human, but she felt seen. Where is Mum? She thought. Lucy found her outline she'd known anywhere. A walk even a cloak couldn't hide. Still on her phone, her mum looked quite small further back along the path, but Lucy could see what her raised hand meant. A stop sign. She found a wooden seat held up by rocks and sand in the sun and wind, watching and waiting while Mum kept looking for her, waving. Her eyes drawn to a figure on Tusker Rock. Lucy saw it had vanished. If it was just a tall object, the sea could hardly have swollen it so fast. And if a person, there was no sign of a swimmer, head bobbing up above the waves. Maybe all she glimpsed was a bit of a wreckage from one of the boats that the rock had smashed into pieces. The thorn sprouting to one side of the bench reminded her of a sleeping beauty. She was thinking how lethal they looked when she heard a cry right there beside her as a thick stem bent. Just as it would if it caught someone passing, the sound was a gasp of pain. Then, if the wind had dragged her out to sea, the quietness returned. It was stupid too. Looked for blood on the grass, but she couldn't help checking anyway. Lucy, highly imaginative, her primary school head had told her mum in front of her, once in a tone that might have meant, "Lucy's a bit bonkers, you know." Maybe she'd been right. For the moment, she soaked up the salty, blustery piece and told herself not to fantasize. But the sound that broke in was a fierce of thorns. Not a victim's yelp, but a threat. Eyeing her was a huge bird, jet black and sleek, standing on the bridge, standing on a bright orange legs and feet. The savage bird, the savage call had come from its open, bright orange beak. "What?" she asked. She wasn't intimidated by a gull. In spite of the stories about them mounting aerial attacks on people, eating their chips on the seafront, this one, though, seems big enough to scare off a red kite. But why give her a hard time? The black gull hopped a step closer, its eyes boring through her. Again it screeched and clawed right at her, almost within pecking distance of her feet. Something in Lucy's head or heart felt cold and quivering. As she tried to remember Grandad telling her how brave she was. "Lethbridge-stewart," she said slowly, firming, staring it out eye to eye. It jumped and squawked was different now. It sounded angered than ever, but wounded too. The next moment, the oversized bird lifted off and flew away, shrinking against the landscape until it was just like one of those black felt tip V shapes she might put on a drawing. Lucy whispered, "Thanks, Grandad," and looked out to the sea where the line between water and sky blurred like a watercolour. Then she glanced up to the edge of the sheer cliff towards Southern Down. The same figure, could it be? Only its shape had changed, as if one arm was pointed out to the sea. Like a telescope, a spear. But at what? Perhaps someone else had directed the gull away. Now Lucy felt cold. Enough sitting. She sprang up and waved at Mum, but she didn't seem to register. "Hiya," said a voice. Lucy turned to find a lad in jeans with a hoodie over his head. He had a button nose, freckles, and a white skin blotched with red flushes. "What did you say to that gull?" He was much taller than her, but his expression was friendly. "I gave it a talking to," she said. There was something different about the boy, and she couldn't work out at first what it was. Then she noticed no eyebrows, no eyelashes. It made his eyes look bigger and blue. "I haven't seen you here before." "I'm Hobo." "I'm Lucy. We just moved here." "Congratulations." She wasn't expecting a handshake, but he offered, so she took it. "Cool name," she said. "It means homeless vagabond," he said, "or wanderer." "Are you homeless?" Lucy asked. "No, but I'm wandering," he smiled. "So are you. Shall I give you the magical mystery tour?" She checked, and Mum was still talking, with the wind making a big dark cloud of her hair. Lucy checked the cliff top, but the figure had gone. No cloak, no telescope. Okay, let's go, Hobo said. Go downstairs. As they stepped into the sunshine, Hobo pushed back his hood. His scalp was as bare as a baby's bottom, but bonnier. He had no hair at all, and it made him look like one of those so-called aliens from Roswell, or one of those squishy toys one's nest in Gunge. His eyes fixed on hers. Alopecia, he said. I'm still human, and you can't catch it. He began to hurry down a slippery slope of rock to a whitened beach full of craggy slabs, or me. I like the new character. So what do we think? It's chapter 2 done. How are we doing, everyone? Are we enjoying it so far? You like it? Good. Good, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Good. It's great so far. Good. Right. Okay, I've seen the time. I'm probably going to do one more chapter, and then we're going to call it a do for there. Then I'm going to go and rest my voice for like half an hour, then we're going to stream some Eva. But we'll do one more chapter. It was very ambitious of me thinking I'd stream the whole thing in one stream. Okay. So we'll have a go at doing chapter 3 now. And we'll crack on. My voice is soothing, thank you. Right. Right, so we'll do one more chapter, and then, yeah. Is this something you guys want to see, like, on a stream basis? Would you like to see, like, me finish this, or, like, I don't know. You guys are going to have to let me know. Also in a video as well, because this will be going live, and people think I've lost my mind. Yeah. So, you've got two options at the end of this. You can either tell me to do another stream, or streams, till I finish the book, and, or you can go and buy the book yourself and finish it yourself. So, the either option's there. I'm going to change the live stream chapter 1 to... chapter 1 to whatever I'm doing, and maybe I could do it like a little series until I finish the book. So, yeah. Okay, so thank you guys for checking in. I know this is kind of like a bit of a different stream. I'm normally screaming at video games and such like that, but I will be doing that later. This is my first stream of mine. Whoa, welcome. This is a first for me, reading a book on stream. Okay, so we're gonna crack on, and I'm gonna start with chapter 3. Okay, so Hobo's just been introduced to the book. He's a bald alopecian just like me. I really like the way they described him. I think it's really cool. So yeah, right, let's continue on. It's okay, Paula, don't worry about it. Not a problem. So, right. So we're going to start with chapter 3, okay? Okay, chapter 3. A different kind of friend. Lucy was determined to prove Hobo wrong by catching and overtaking him on the stones that sloped down to the beach. But they'd only just started to make their way down when she heard a name on the wind. The mum was giving her... Oops, sorry. I lost my place. The mum wave... the wave mum was giving her meant, please don't go off with a strange boy. My mum, Lucy explained sheepishly. Yeah, I can see that. Everyone's always said Lucy was a small version of Tamara Wilson. But she hoped that there was Lethbridge-stewart in her too, deep in her DNA. Is your mum she began bald? No, it doesn't always work like that. It's an autoimmune, but it doesn't have to be hereditary. Lucy hoped there were things Grandad had passed on to her, not just courage, but never giving up. Hobo crunched through the pebbles of all sizes, and colours, and she followed, but was impossible to run. They both stopped, crouched, and searched for the prettiest or weirdest, the one that stood out from the crowd. Ever seen a hairy pebble? He asked and grinned. He ran his hands over his bald scalp, or bare scalp. I fit right in, smooth and cool. Lucy thought he might be big-headed, but his smile was wide and friendly, and she realized he was making fun of himself. A joker. She thought he might be the coolest boy she'd ever met. But a bit pale, he added. My surname is an anagram of skin tone, or ink stone, which is a good name for the rocks around here. Lucy was trying to work that comment out without much success. When he continued, I'd be happy with Nitskener? Japan's cool. I've no idea. No idea. Lucy wasn't keeping up. She turned to face Mum. This is Herbert. He hasn't got cancer. Just a surname he's only tells me in anagrams. Pleased to meet you, Herbert. Mum shook hands as if it was a job interview. Mrs. Wilson, are you local? Yep, born and bred. I can tell you about this place if you like. Lots of weird history going way back. How old are you? Asked Lucy. She hoped he wasn't a know-it-all Nick could be. I'll be 14 after Christmas. The primary school's all right, though. Lucy stopped her, snapping back. This always happens to her, and it was so annoying every time. Just because she was short, I'm year 7, she told him coolly. Oops, sorry. Big mouth. Giant feet right into. He looked down at the feet in question. Mum explained that she'd been small too, at Lucy's age, until her growth spurt. Lucy felt embarrassed now, even before her mum added, maybe you'll be able to help Lucy find her way to school, Herbert. Mum, it's not a maze. It's half the size of Danesfield. She looked at Herbert, who was grinning. Go on then. What's the weird history? But before he could start, Mum asked about a cafe, and Herbert said there wasn't one. Just a van with a dog. But he'd take them anyway. He led the way along the shore where the sand was soaked firm with seawater. Would your mother like to join us for a coffee? Mum asked Herbert. She's at work on the mean streets of Ogmore, chasing down the bad guys. She's a cop? Exclaimed Lucy. He nodded. Part-time. Lucy wasn't sure whether that was a joke. Would there even be enough crime in these parts to fill 3 hours a week? I've seen popses out in the deep southern way, he said. The coolest thing we have ever had in these parts was jellyfish invasion. Lucy was a few steps ahead of him, but she stopped and turned. An invasion? How many is that even then? 11? You're a skeptic, he said, making it sound like a compliment. That's scientific. But I saw the evidence. He pointed to his blue eyes and then pulled a pair of sunglasses out of a bulge of his jogger's pocket and put them on. Lucy couldn't understand why. Because the sky was white grey, and then he said, suppose that without eyelashes he needed them to keep the sand out of his eyes. We've all been there. Well, I have anyway. What evidence? Moon jellyfish. There were thousands of them, millions maybe. A bit like the Romans in their wooden ships, only this lot looked like they were from outer space. They string, of course, fire venom out of their tentacles, but they didn't attack anyone. They just bobbed and clogging up the place, all bulgy and squidgy. Lucy was a bit disappointed. Why are they called moon jellyfish? Ah, well, said Hober, maybe because they're in the moon power sea, like the tide, or like people, thought Lucy, when their minds were taken over, like those aliens Grandad had told her about. Hober wouldn't have heard of the dark force Grandad defeated. He probably wouldn't know who Grandad was either. And she wouldn't been surprised if she so-called invasion of the moon jellyfish was most exciting thing that had happened in this place for 100 years. When was this? She asked. How long ago? To her surprise, he told her in the days it was a big number, and he grinned. He said, anyway, he added, I threw one at Gav and it didn't eat his face. He grinned. That's my little brother. They'd reached the car park area with the Coast Guard hut, a red flag waving a warning about swimmers, toilets, and the van said coffee, spelt wrong. It was a moment before Lucy realised that the golden thing swinging back and forth at the side of it was the tail of a Labrador. There you go, cried Hobo. See you later. And he lobbed off, greeting the dog with an affectionate rugby tackle. What a funny boy, said Mum, smiling as if she approved. You could say that. Lucy might have called him weird, but that would have been mean. Because of his alopecia... Really? Really, she thought he was just a rare, and for the reason that had nothing to do with her. And she liked him. Still, since he was an anagram addict, she guessed he'd worked out what her mum, Tamara, could become. I am a rat. Which Lucy couldn't really hold against her. Even though the coincidence was horrible, she told herself never to remember it again. Mum bought her a hot chocolate and they sat and watched the waves. Lucy held the cup, feeling thoughtful. I don't suppose Grandpa Sam will have time to visit, said Lucy. He's very busy. Lucy, you know that. Lucy shrugged. Her mum was always snappy about Grandpa Sam. She turned her attention to the family, who had just arrived at the coffee van with all kinds of kit to unpack. Chairs, tables, a picnic basket, a ball, bats, buckets and spades. The children, who were small and noisy, didn't seem to mind the temperature, which wasn't exactly summery. Lucy, it's not such a bad place here, is it? Asked Mum. I think it's rather magical. Lucy made a noise, more of a than a The hot chocolate was good and sweet. The crawling from above was sudden, as loud as a black gull glided directly overhead, circling. The sun emerged, making it orange vivid as she looked up. Not the same bird, surely. What was it? What was its problem? With a sharp nosedive, it seemed to be aiming straight for her nose. She remembered the nursery rhyme about the blackbird and the poor maid who'd had hers pecked off. Lucy shooed it, "Get away!" and a jackknifed around, only to twist and head right back as its beak gaping as if it wanted to fit around her neck like a vice. "What on earth?" cried Mum, ducking and pulling at Lucy. Standing now, Lucy couldn't yell Grandad's name this time, not in front of her mum and strangers too. So she thought instead while she roared charges towards the bird, her arms flailing and her eyes so widely they burned. The gull screeched. Mum screamed. Then it had gone, flying off out to sea like a regular bird. Not a hitman with feathers, not a demon. Lucy, are you all right? You are right, said Lucy. This is a dangerous place. There we go. So that's the end of chapter 3. Please turn the sound up. The sound. I'm eating the microphone. I'm eating the microphone. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 3. So what are we? I know I'm literally asking you guys after every chapter. What do you think? Right. Okay. So Tom Coffee is how you spell coffee in Wales. Ah, right. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. How many more pages is the next chapter? Right. We'll read chapter 4 and then we'll call it a deal because I need to stop this, get ready for the next stream. Yeah, okay, what is it? I'll do chapter 4 and then I'll stop at chapter 5 and then we've done 5 chapters. And then alright, well that's cool. Well if it's nicely read, that's good. Okay, I will read chapter 4 and then we'll finish on chapter 5, and then if we do 5 chapters each stream, then we'll get through this book pretty quickly. But if it's something you guys want to see more, maybe I could do this again. Storytime with Tom. I mean, it's a good title. I like it. Okay, so we'll read chapter 4 and then we'll finish and we can start the next stream on chapter 5. Hopefully Sue's watching this. If you are, Sue, hi. Okay, so chapter 4. And I can get ready for Evo, where I can be like, wee! And now I'm just like, welcome to chapter 5. Today we are talking about coffee, how it's spelt with C-O-F-F-I instead without the E's. That's how you pronounce it in Wales. Alright, let's crack on. Okay. It's a very posh accent, thank you. That accent, I know. One can do quite lovely accents, especially when reading books. Yes, quite. I'm going to stop now, it's embarrassing. Okay. I can't do next chapter like chapter 4. Not a threat, but a warning. I can't do a Welsh accent. I reckon it's like, you're right, boyo. Like, that's about it. That's all the Welsh you're going to get out of me. Okay. Just getting a microphone, so weird. So weird. Okay. Last chapter for me tonight. Okay. Can you do Scouse? I can't. Okay. Here we go. Chapter 4. Not a threat, but a warning. The unpacking had to be faced sooner or later, and when the next day turned out wet and wild, Lucy decided to take it on. After she was finally done, she called Aisha and felt a bit lonely. Friday wasn't any blurrer? But Mum took her to the Porth Crawl, which she said was a proper resort. And it was true that it had more hotels and restaurants, slot machines and cafes than sheep. Enormous painted letters on the sea wall warned people not to swim, and the waves did look quite feisty as they broke the rocks. They had an ice cream and saw a poster at a fancy old pavilion advertising Swan Lake there that Saturday. Mum brought 3 tickets for the lunchtime matinee, even though Lucy said Dad won't come. There were girls in the air, but not psychotic ones eyeballing her, and she began to wonder whether she'd been trying to spice up the quiet with that imagination of hers. Everyone knew moving house was stressful, but adults didn't seem to understand that moving school was 10 times the trauma, and she wasn't sleeping well either. Remembering a dream she had had the night before about the hooded woman spreading wings and taking off from the top of a cliff, she kept an eye out for the cloaked figure. In the car on the way back to Ogmore, they passed a pub with nobody sitting out the front of it. The pelican in her piety, Mum read aloud. That's got to be the strangest pub name on the planet. Lucy looked. In the upstairs room, she glimpsed a face at the window, a hooded face. It was a fraction of a second as they drove past. How could she be sure? Did you see? She interrupted. Someone was looking out of the upstairs window. Mum glanced back at Lucy in the mirror. Windows are good for looking through, better than walls. Mum! Lucy felt embarrassed. Silly. But she had an idea that her face belonged to the hooded figure. She was watching us. I've seen her before. I guess in a place like this, new arrivals cause a bit of a curtain twitching, said Mum, as they drove between the bracken and sand dunes. It's not like London. You're not kidding, Mum said. She missed it too. For a moment, she seemed sad. So Lucy, but sympathetic hand on her arm. But Lucy couldn't forget the face she'd seen in the window of the pelican in her piety. Logically, it could be the owner, or a paying guest, or the cleaner hoovering the bedrooms. But logic wasn't everything. Some things could only be understood with an imagination, and hers was graded A. Grandad had told her so. That had been his last Christmas before she even started school. He had finished one of his stories and explained when she cried, "Another one!" that he was tired now. He also asked her about aliens. If you had to invite one, Lucy Lou, tell me all about it. She ended up jumping off of his lap to become the alien, because it was fat as bread dough. She made it tilt from side to side like her dad dancing badly. Feel the alien eyes slicing through you, Grandad, like pasty cutters. Grandad loved Mum's mince pies. How many eyes? Too many to count, like the squash flies in Garibaldi biscuit. I probably got that wrong. Lucy made her 2 brown eyes as wide as she could until they hurt. Pulling a fierce face, she lumbered towards him, hands like claws. And they're all ruby red and smoking. These are such scary aliens, Lucy Lou, said Grandad. Just as crisp as usual. It's a very good job aliens find me absolutely terrifying. He stood up tall and straight. He was too old to chase her around the living room, but he still looked like a hero, and she loved him. What if the hooded watcher was an alien who'd been playing in the dressing up box? Grandad wouldn't have called her silly if she'd asked that now. He'd have wanted to know why, what for. They arrived at the house and parked on the new drive. Mum was looking back at her with a concerned expression. Lucy could hardly imagine how concerned she'd been if she knew what she'd been going on inside her head. How many millions of people can there be in this place, Mum said, switching off the ignition. Your new friend can't be too hard to find. Mission Hobo begins here, and you're directing operations. What's the plan? Lucy thought, but she didn't know her favourite food or music or anything. Just that he computed words and numbers like an app. We could try the barbers, she joked. Wow. Mum gave her that look, but Lucy told her she didn't think Hobo would mind. It's what's in your heart that counts when you make that kind of joke, she told her mum. But when you can't be sure what's in the other person's heart. Lucy was starting to pull faces when she realised that that was a good point. Then she had an idea. Call the police, she cried. What? We haven't been burgled. His mum's a police officer, remember? She grinned, imagining a bigger female version of Hobo pinning a criminal to the wall. In Porthcawl, I bet she's a real mean machine. Or a real machine, as added the mean machine part. Of course, I should have thought of that myself. I'll make some tea and then call the station. We could have dropped by if you reminded me. I know, Lucy felt cross with herself, and now that was always the worst kind of crossness. It doubled when she realised she didn't know Herbert's surname. She fetched the scrap paper to start working out an anagram, but she couldn't remember the Japanese word to start with. A few moments later, Mum was in the kitchen with her old CD player playing David Bowie. Lucy ran upstairs and just started to text Aisha when she thought she heard a noise from the hallway. Not a knock, and probably just post, but maybe. Hoping she willed Hobo onto the doorstep, Lucy went to look through the glass, which blurred the outline on the outside. The outline was small now and getting smaller. Whoever had visited was leaving in a hurry. But they weren't hobo-shaped. The shape was fluid, melting away like a vertical puddle, and then was more like a bird lifting its wings to take off. Ignoring what had ever fallen through the letterbox, Lucy opened the door, or tried, but it was stiff, and by the time she tugged it hard enough, there was no one to see. Just a couple of stumpy palm trees and ferns, a cyclist in a helmet, and the next door marmalade cat flying up a tree as if a panther was on its tail. Lucy ran out in her slippers and looked left and right, down towards the sea and up towards the new estate. Could she have glimpsed a bin bag carried by the wind? Hearing her name, she went back inside and picked up the folded paper on the doormat. It was a plain A4 with no envelope. Just had Lucy scrawled so faintly into pencil she hadn't noticed it at first. Opening it up, she read a message typed in Times New Roman with no signature, and it made no sense. Unsuspecting new intelligence target. Take care. Always. Eyes. Ears. Imagination. Lucy frowned. Was this somebody's idea of fun, or bullying? Or just a variation on a welcome to your new home? She read it under her breath, then took it up to her room and hid it in an old picture book. She refused to clear out in the move, the one about whales that sang and girl who left them gifts. Perhaps the note was a gift too. Not a threat, but a warning, a tip-off. But that word target was a bit creepy, because that meant her. The penciled name she could show Mum, but she knew she wouldn't because it would worry her. She certainly wouldn't tell her father. He never took her seriously. Lucy, she heard from downstairs, of Rebel T. Come in, she yelled. As she rushed down the stairs, her mind returned to the letter, and instantly she saw her granddad giving her a cautious nod. And there we go. That's the end of chapter 4. So, what do we think? I think, Panda, you lost. What you lost at? What you lost at? Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little story time. I've read 1 to chapter 4. I will definitely do some more of these streams to finish the book if you guys would like. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed reading to you. I don't know if my reading's that good, but I tried. Path Crawl is a real place as well. Didn't even know that. It's okay if you guys missed it. The stream will be live on YouTube in a couple hours time. I'm going to go and have a quick 5 minutes, and then I'm going to be jumping on Evo. So if you guys want to come see a bit more of Crazy Tom, then make sure to do so. If you want to check out the book, the link to Sue's website is in the description. I think a couple of you said it's on Amazon as well. So it's called Lucy Wilson's Mysteries, Avatars of the Intelligence. So I'll be reading some more of it. But I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys in a little while. So thank you very much for stopping by, and Adventure Time with Tom will continue soon. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.